Is this the most obvious trade of the week? Well, stick around for about 8 minutes or so and you will soon find out. So let's get straight into the show. First and foremost, I do want to touch on the traditional markets, and the reason being is because, of course, yesterday was Labor Day, so happy Labor Day to all of those of you who are in the US. So the markets were closed, and today we can expect some new level of volatility to kick into the markets. Yesterday was really just crab market going sideways, and today we'll have to see. Maybe the stock market will allow for crypto to shoot up or to crash back down. But looking at the DXY, more or less in the same place. We'll see how this opens up later today. The NASDAQ, let's have a look where that's at. NASDAQ, I would expect that this is most likely going to continue to the downside, but only time will tell. I think the S&P 500 futures should already be open. Let's have a look at that. This is a bit laggy over here. Okay, it hasn't opened yet, so just stay tuned. It has opened. That it's holding that support over there, which could be a good thing for crypto, and it might line up with what I'm looking at. At the moment, I am looking for a possible short-term bounce, and there could be some correlation with what's going on with Ethereum. So I'm going to show you that shortly. We're not going to focus too much on the high time frame. I do want to point out on this chart, which we covered yesterday, is our inverse Bitcoin chart. So remember, this one going up is bad. For crypto, this one going down is pretty good. And perma bear, no, I'm not a perma bear. I actually am just waiting for an opportunity to go long again. So what would that look like on this chart over here? As you can see, if I were to just take my drawing tool and it were still to hold this exact trend line over there, that means that price could come down to about $21,000 without breaking down this trend line. Remember that for this trend line to break down, it needs to hold on a closing basis, because this only takes into consideration the closes on the 3-day chart. So I'm going to show you in a moment's time, while on the inverse chart, if price does move up for Bitcoin and other crypto assets, it could still be holding the bearish longer term chart that we are looking at, which we expect to play out over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. So keep that $21,000 number in mind. And then I just wanted to very, very quickly touch base on the Daily Candle newsletter. If you have not yet subscribed, then there is a link which is in the description over here below. Just 1 second. Okay, that's from today's show. So in the description over here below, click on that. You'll find the Daily Candle. It's all the way at the bottom over here. So you can sign up. You get free alpha. It will take you to Sheldon's page. And then all you need to do is click on the Daily Candle, subscribe over here. But a lot of people, the reason I'm bringing it up is because a lot of people have mentioned that they're not receiving the newsletter. In order to receive it, you just need to take the mail, which is probably in your spam, and add it as a contact within your email server, and then you should continue to receive them moving forward. So looking at our daily chart over here, not much has changed. Let's remember that 21,000 number in case price does move to the upside. Then this is kind of what we're looking at. Where would that take us? So if you have a look over here and you take this zone, which is going to of course be resistance, it is in line with what we're seeing. A push into that zone is very, very possible, and I'm starting to lean towards that, because the longer that price consolidates over here, I think that it needs to be sent up slightly just to capture some more of that liquidity, to get enough pressure to send it to the downside. And on the short time frames, I am seeing something along those lines. So the question is ETH a leading indicator? And the correlation, how correlated is it, for example, to Bitcoin? This is a low time frame. It's a 1 hour chart over here. And I use this, of course, for today's thumbnail. I want to put it onto a daily chart over here. And you will notice, look at that correlation. It has tracked more or less in the same fashion, with Ethereum, of course, moving with a higher amplitude. So when Ethereum went down harder than Bitcoin, and when it went up harder. But generally, the pattern has remained the same. And now you can see there's a little bit of a divergence over here. So I'm going to bring up a correlation chart. A shout out to one of the community members, Hans. He brought this to my attention over here, and quite an amazing one. If you look at this, you can take it over multiple different time frames and see, well, what is the probability that there is a correlation, meaning that if ETH has been leading the market and going up. Maybe Bitcoin's going to have its run next. And the answer is in this. It lies anything that's marked as green would be a decent correlation. And the highest correlation amongst these coins over here, which is ADA, XRP, Litecoin, and Ethereum, is the Bitcoin to Ethereum pairing. You got a 0.84 correlation, which is pretty high in 24 hours. And I think as you go up in high time frames, it gets stronger. The 7-day time frame is still 0.87. And then look at that, guys. The 30-day time frame is a 0.91 correlation, meaning that they are extremely correlated. So the question begs, if you go here to Don Alt, he says that ETH is attempting to break out of a range, and the last time that it did so, it doubled relative to Bitcoin. If it doubles again relative to Bitcoin, it'll flip it. However, will Bitcoiners let that happen, or will they mercilessly pump Bitcoin to stop the ratio from getting worse, or will it dump for a retest? So a lot of what ifs over here. And I think that most likely, and I need to bring up another chart. Let's quickly pull this over. Most likely, when we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance over here, you will notice, let's put it on a little bit of a high time frame on a 3-day chart over here. You will notice that according to this, the Bitcoin dominance looks like it is breaking down. But with that being said, could this be the case of a possible deviation in the same way that you had a deviation below range, deviation below range, deviation below range, and here you have deviations above the range? Are we facing this type of a scenario where Bitcoin is about to shoot up and steal back some of that dominance and target back towards the mid-range and diagonal trend line that we had previously? So let me know in the comments what you think. I can tell you from a charting perspective, all we need to do is mark out our invalidation areas. And if this is going to be the case and we do decide we want to go long, where will we be wrong on that? And it's all about a risk to reward ratio. So bringing up the actual chart over here, I'm seeing one of two different scenarios. One is a descending triangle, which I've told you has a high probability of playing out, and usually it would be in the direction of the trend. So in this instance, the direction of the trend we know is down. So if this were to break to the downside, you would be looking at $18,729 to the downside. Okay. If it is to the upside, you're looking at 20,925. So very much in line with everything that I've been showing you on the other time frames for Bitcoin. Nevertheless, let's take a look. Assuming it breaks out from where I've drawn this to the upside, that is about a 4.7% move, and the downside is going to be exactly the same thing. So you can actually play this both ways. And what would that look like? Well, I would recommend pulling out your range trading tool, which I'll show you in just a second's time. But assuming that you're going to play it off of the triangle over here, it would look something like this. Let's quickly grab this. So if you are going with a long position, I would only enter into the long from the bottom of the range over here. So as you can see, this is your main range, right? I'm sure you can all agree with me. This is your main range. This is if you decide you want to view it as a range and not a descending triangle. So if you're going to play at that route, I would set my orders. And I did mention this already yesterday. I know a lot of you took that long trade, so congratulations to you if you did. Your long trade opportunity would be something like this, with your stop loss below all of these wicks that happened over here, and you entering onto the bottom of the trend line. Anywhere within this region, you can start to scale into your position. So anywhere within this zone over here, you're scaling in. And then your take profit is going to be, assuming this is you're taking this as a triangle and it's going to break to the upside, your final take profit would be over there. I would definitely consider at least taking some of my profits into this liquidity over here, which would be around the mid range. So this would be, for example, TP1, and that would be your TP2. It's not a great number 2, but you get the point. Okay, so that's the one scenario. Now, if you do decide, well, you also want to short this, what would that look like? This would be your short opportunity. Kyle is not shorting. I'm going to do both. I'm showing you right now. I'm going to take both of these trades. So let's grab the tool over here, taking the short position. So now you're going to run 2 trades, the same thing. Your next trade, what would that look like? Well, any push up above this triangle, you would look to grab the liquidity. So anything like this would be the zone. Your risk to reward might be a little bit harder to work out because it depends if this is going to be a triangle or range. So you make that decision, but it would be something like that, and you'd be targeting towards the bottom over there. Now you have two trades. Same thing over here. You can TP halfway down and then take your final TP at the bottom of that. As long as your risk to reward ratio is bigger than a 1 to 3, then you're not gambling. If it's a 1 to 2, you're gambling, right? You need at least a 1 to 3 to make it a worthwhile trade. This gives you a 1 to 3. This one gives you even better than that. So that is the possible double way of how you can play this. And we know that there will be volatility that enters the market, because if we look at this trade, this is what I gave you yesterday. And I said you can essentially play ping pong within the range. And so this has remained true since. It's basically long over here, short over here, long over here, short over here. And yesterday I told you that you'd want to take first TP at mid-range, second TP at the top. So what would have happened is over here, you would have TP'd your first bit, and then at the bottom, you would have re-entered that again to attempt to go long a second time. So same story over here. Depending on which way you want to view this, as a triangle or as a range. If you're viewing it as a range, it's going to be exactly the same thing. Very, very easy over here. You have your risk to reward like this at the bottom. Same thing over there. So whether it's a triangle or a range, the long side is going to be exactly the same because your stop loss is easy. It's an easy invalidation underneath these wicks over here. And then you're targeting the top over there. If you're wanting to short this as a range, which I would say is the safer bet, by the way, I'm probably not going to take this short over here. I don't think that the risk is clear enough defined. So let's delete that, because if I'm not doing it, you probably shouldn't either, unless you really want to. That's your choice. Shorting, though, would look something like this. I would wait for any push up into this zone over here. And above that zone, you're going to short to the downside like that. Back to the bottom of the range. Those are the two trade opportunities that I'm watching today. And all you need to do is manage your risk. One of them is going to hit, one of them is not, and you'll probably be stopped out. I am leaning towards the long side, as mentioned earlier. I think that it's more probable that we're going to have a short-term bounce and then probably continue on back to the downside after that. So, and I'm still sticking with what I said. I think that's all going to happen around those all-important dates, which I had marked out on the daily chart over here. It's all going to happen probably between the 13th and the 21st of September. Somewhere around there is where I expect the major volatility to kick in with the market. So guys, very short video for today. Not much else to say. Very little has changed within the markets. If you do enjoy these videos, please make sure that you give the video a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And then for those of you who are not yet in the Discord community, you are seriously missing out. Make sure that you join the Discord community. The link is also in the bio below. And all you need to do is use any one of these links over here to verify yourself so that you can join the VIP section. That's where I drop the trades and the alpha. When I take one of these trades and I decide to physically execute on it, I will post it live with the stop loss, the entry point, the TP, everything, risk management, the whole bang shoot. And then also make sure that you sign up to Bitget. I will be placing most of my trades over here. And I don't know if I'm meant to leak this information yet, but we are going to have another trading competition. So a lot of you in the US said that you weren't able to participate because we did the BYBIT one and you can't trade on BYBIT. So that is why we actually I can't say for certain yet, but I think it's looking like we're going to run exactly the same type of competition on Bitget. So if you don't have a link for that, then make sure that you join using my link over here. You get up to 15% discount on your trading fees, and you can get $8,000 in sign-up bonuses. So guys, that is it from me. Until next time, I'll see you guys all on the following video. Have an absolutely stellar day. Stay safe out there and trade well. Cheers for now.